We have Commissioner Peters with us.
Got it.
Just, bring my phone.
Okay.
So.
We're good.
We're good. Is she with us, Kathleen? Commissioner Peters?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Pete, how do we turn up the sound?
They'll handle that in the back.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Cussing, yelling in the front line. And I said to her, I told the driver, I said, please don't leave. Because I said, I don't even have a space for her. This is St. Jude College. They told me I could have more than 100 people in this room. I just told her, people had to wear masks. And so, Johnson assigned someone to sit with her.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to bring this meeting of the Pinellas County Board of Commissioners to order, please. And without further ado, we will have Commissioner Peters say the invocation, and Commissioner Eggers will do the pledge.
Thank you and good morning.
Good
May we
morning.
pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. We pray for wisdom, for strength, for courage to do what is right and good for all citizens. May we put the interest of others above our own. May we act with love for the common good. May we be good neighbors, recognizing your image in every person here. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have a couple of proclamations to do this morning, so if I could ask while I am making my way down there, the first one we're going to do is the Engineers Week proclamation, and I would like Greg Osmansky and Nancy Lamagna to please come to the podium. Hopefully you're here in the audience. All right, I will meet you down there in 2 seconds, or maybe 3 or 4.
Morning, guys. Morning here.
Come around, there you go.
I'm sorry. Is that the governor's baseball dinner? Thanks for letting me know. The Phillies are having their reception next Wednesday.
As I said, today we have the proclamation to proclaim Engineers Week. Engineering Week is dedicated to increasing interest and understanding in engineering and technology careers to ensure a successful future engineering workforce. Engineers serve their communities using scientific and technical knowledge and skills and innovation to maintain or improve a high quality of life for all residents of Florida. Engineers encourage our young students to realize the power of the science, technology, engineering, and math in their daily lives. And engineers continue to stimulate and develop professional concepts among their peers through education and excellence in practice. Engineering helps to drive our economy, protect our environment, improve our public safety and our quality of life. The knowledge and skills of the engineering practice are critical to meeting the challenges of the 21st century. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners that the week of February 19th through the 25th, 2023, be recognized as Engineers Week. And I'm going to turn the mic over to this gentleman here, Tom, who I understand is taking the place for Mr. Osmansky. How do you say his name? Osmansky. Thank you so much.
What should I say?
Well, that's thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Commissioner. We're,
We're off to a good start today.
engineering has been a very rewarding profession for me. I would have to say, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, that we love Pinellas County. Thank you very much.
That was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Madam Chairman. In 1951, the National Society of Professional Engineers founded Engineers Week to bring awareness to the indispensable contributions that engineers make to society. 72 years later, engineers continue to adapt and evolve to make our lives easier, more comfortable, and make our world a much better place. On behalf of all the engineers in the county, it is an honor to receive this proclamation. I'd like to thank all the Board of County Commissioners, our County Administrator, Barry Burton, for this proclamation, for recognizing all the engineers and acknowledging the vital roles that engineers play in improving our quality of life and making our world a better place. I'd also like to thank all of our consulting engineers for their continuous support, all their smart ideas, their hard work, and their everlasting patience. This year's Engineers Week theme is Creating the Future. And I'm excited to see what we engineers accomplish to create a more adaptive and resilient community for our citizens. Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Yes, where do you want us?
You're fine.
Should we
Wait,
put
wait,
Tom
wait,
in the middle?
wait. Oh, sorry, bring that back.
Yes, I will. Oh, yes. It's just for the photo.
Oh, it's just for the photo. Oh. Thank you. Okay, so for our partner presentation today, I'd like to call up Mr. Mike Sutton, President and Chief Executive Officer with Habitat for Humanity of Pinellas and West Pasco County. Welcome, Mike, and please make sure you tell everybody how hard we all worked last Friday. Uh-oh, okay, go, oh my, he's got photos, this will not be pretty.
Are you staying down here for this?
I don't know if I'm supposed to. I think I
You're
have one
welcome
more
to.
thing to do. No, you're not. Oh, no, that's at the end. Okay, yes, no, I'm not.
Okay. Oh, long story. Give us
Give him space.
Well, good morning, and thank you so much for the opportunity to address you all this morning. We appreciate so much the partnership with Pinellas County and the opportunity to continue to serve families in our community. I will talk a little bit about our build day that we had a couple weeks ago. Commissioner Flowers, we missed you, but I got good stories to share with you, so don't worry. Habitat for Humanity, for those that don't, or that are not aware, we've been around in Pinellas County since 1985. We've completed over 798 homes in our community. We are quickly approaching our 800th home milestone, and I'll mention that here again in a second. We last year in Pinellas County built 67 homes. And those 67 homes were more homes than any other Habitat was able to complete in the entire country. There's about 1,000 Habitat affiliates throughout the United States, and our affiliate here in Pinellas County and the western side of Pasco built more homes than anywhere else. So be proud of the fact that you have an organization like Habitat for Humanity that continues to serve families with affordable home opportunities. Again, we're approaching our 800th home milestone. I'm going to introduce you all to Brianna Clayton in just a moment, who is our 800th home recipient. But I wanted to also take a moment and just highlight some of the projects that we have going on throughout our community. Something we're extremely proud of at Habitat is the work that we've been able to do in the greater Ridgecrest community. As you all know, about 5 years ago, we started to do some work there in partnership with the county. The majority of the properties that we built on throughout Ridgecrest and the Dansville community were made possible through the partnership with the county. Mostly properties that were sold to Habitat at a discounted rate under market value, or were donated to us. And to date, we've completed 76 homes in the greater Ridgecrest community just in the last 5 years. We have 9 more that are under construction and will be completed here probably within the next 12 months. We will be breaking ground on a very historic site in the greater Ridgecrest area on Gooden Crossing in partnership with the Gooden family. And so we're really excited about this. We're going to build these homes in partnership with the Gooden family, who actually made the property available to us as a way to honor Chester Gooden and the family that established roots there right in the heart of the Ridgecrest community. And so those homes will be built in partnership with that family as a way for us to memorialize that family for generations to come. We're really excited about our recent work that we've been doing in the Lealman community. Just in 2022, we completed 12 homes in the Lealman area. We have 17 homes that are under construction right now in Lealman, including our 800th home milestone. We are also in negotiation right now with the county on 12 more units that should be built probably within the next 12 months or so. There's a photo from the elected officials build day that we did just 2 weeks ago, which 5 of you were out there working hard, and we fixed everything you all worked on. So everything is good and back to normal. But we did appreciate you all coming out for the day and swinging a hammer with us and rolling up your sleeves. So who Habitat serves? I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the work that we do, as well as other affordable housing providers in our community. We serve families who are employed. They're typically underemployed, and they struggle to make ends meet from a housing standpoint. So you can see we serve families between 30 and 80% of the area median income. For a family two, here's an example. They have to make somewhere between $32,000 and $52,000 annually. The families that we do serve are folks that we come in contact with every day. They're folks that work here at the county. They're school system employees like bus drivers and teacher aides. They are healthcare workers like CNAs and folks that are on a career path to advance their career. They typically make too much money to qualify for any sort of government assistance, and they don't make enough to qualify for a traditional home loan. So they're stuck somewhere in the middle there, and through the Habitat program, we make home ownership a possibility. I mentioned the number one misconception about us is that we build homes and give them away. That's not the truth. We actually provide a zero interest mortgage to the families we partner with. That zero interest mortgage guarantees the affordability of that home for the duration of their home loan. All of our families have to show a housing need. They have to have verifiable income for a minimum of a year. They have to have reasonably good credit. We don't look at credit in terms of they have to have perfect credit, but they can't have anything in collections, and we work with them to get them to a good place. They have to show that they have an ability to pay a mortgage, and they have to be willing to partner with Habitat. And what the willingness to partner means is they have to go through a series of 32 homebuyer education classes. Those classes are designed to teach them everything they need to know about owning a home, things like budget and finance, how to be a good neighbor, home repair, home maintenance, everything that all of us should learn as we buy our home. They also have to complete somewhere between 350 and 450 sweat equity hours. And they come out and they work on their home as well as the home of other Habitat future homeowners. They swing a hammer and they put in that sweat equity. And their children can help with that as well by getting some good grades in school. The difference between Habitat and any other builder out there is really that zero interest mortgage. That really kind of sets us apart. It's typical that a homeowner right now would buy a home from Habitat, and with taxes, insurance, and their principal payment will be somewhere around $1,000 to $1,100 a month on their payment. And that's with taxes and insurance. There's zero down payment required of our homeowners. We have no private mortgage insurance. They do have to save towards some closing costs, which is actually about to bump up to $2,000. We build all of our homes based on the size of the family. We build 2, 3, 4. We do some 5-bedroom homes. We've done some 6s, and we did 1 7 once. It was a kind of a blended family, and we don't build McMansions by any stretch. We also serve as the home builder. We are the loan originator, and we service all of our mortgages in-house. We keep that relationship very close. Our delinquency rate runs about 0.9% right now, and so the education really works. We've built 798 homes in our history. We've had 7 foreclosures in our history. We typically build single-family homes. Block construction, they're Energy Star certified. We offer a standard homeowner warranty to all of our homeowners. They typically have a garage, they're landscaped, and we provide a refrigerator, stove, dishwasher, microwave. The family moves in and they furnish the home. I do want to, real quick, recognize with me today is our VP of Government Relations, Sean King, our Chief External Relations Officer, Morgan Burketti. I believe we have one of our board members with us. Chris Hackney is with us as well. And I also want to introduce our 800th homeowner, Brianna Clayton. Brianna, why don't you come on up? A number of you got to work alongside Brianna a couple weeks ago. We're so excited for her. She works at Buffalo Wild Wings in Pinellas Park. And through the Habitat program, she will become a homeowner in about 2 weeks. And so we're so excited for her as we celebrate this big milestone. There's very few Habitats around the country that have completed 800 homes. And so we're so proud of Brianna and everything she's done to get to today. And we just wanted to introduce you to her. And we also wanted to use this opportunity to present you with our annual tax check. Our homes are not free. All of our homeowners contribute to the tax base. And so this year, and I believe Sean's bringing it up. I'm going to give this to Brianna. She's going to pay it. This year, our homeowners paid $1,321,859 in property taxes. So this is for you all. We thought we'd do a quick photo op. I also want to just take a second and thank Barry, his staff, the housing department. I know Bruce, Carol, Sherry, Tom, everyone at the county. You all are just an amazing municipality to work with. And I'm not just saying that because I'm standing in front of you. We use Pinellas County as an example with a lot of the cities and that other county we work with up north as a great example. And we can't thank you enough for the continued partnership. So thank you. Can we do our photo?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Come along in the front of us. Brianna, if you wouldn't mind holding the check up so when that's in the photo as well. All right, you got everybody? All right, now gather in close so we, because we all really like each other.
Allegedly. Thank you. Congratulations again. Congratulations.
Madam Chair.
Yes, please, Commissioner Flowers.
Mr. Sutton and Sean, first of all, Sean, I miss you at the COCHLA meeting, so I'm sorry. But I just wanted to say you didn't want me with what I had. You didn't want me at the build day, so that's why I wasn't there. But I know so many people in the community who have benefited from Habitat Homes, particularly the work that you all are doing behind the Enoch Davis Center, or I guess to the west of the Enoch Davis Center, really building a whole community within the home structures that were already there, kind of turning that corner and just changing the whole face of how that community looks for home ownership. And I did have a chance to go to one of the home dedications on that street. And then also for the Ridgecrest area, I know that the county has really focused a lot on working with that community. I know Commissioner Justice and others have really been strategically involved in bringing that area up in the Dansville area, back in the back. So you all do a wonderful job. And just sharing with the public, my brother and sister-in-law, Carla Ross Robinson, had a Habitat home until he went back into the military. And then they sold the home when they moved back to Georgia for the military, and now he's back. But just wanted to say that's why I wasn't there, because you wouldn't have wanted me there with what I had with everybody. And the last time I worked on a Habitat house, they had to redo the windows. I had put them in backwards. But I stayed, and I tried to help turn them around and all that stuff. But I did it with the best of intentions. So I was somebody who you'd have to supervise closely. But thank you guys for what you're doing, and also for the project that you have on 18th Avenue in St. Petersburg with the townhomes that'll be coming up. Expanding homeownership in that area, and hopefully as that develops and grows, like in the Ridgecrest area, excuse me, then we'll start to see some other supports come around, stores and things of that nature to support that community. So I just wanted to share that, and thank you so much. And I do miss y'all at the meetings.
I know. We miss you too, Commissioner.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here today. So, colleagues, before we start our business meeting today, I would like to take a moment and ask that you all please vote to ensure that you're all okay with Commissioner Peters participating via Zoom.
I move for Commissioner Peters to participate.
Okay, will the clerk please record that we have all, it's been moved and approved, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we all agree. Commissioner, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I am here.
Good. Okay, so here we go with our regular business meeting. And the first on the agenda is citizens to be heard. And Mr. Cleveland, would you please come forward? Oh, we have two of you.
We have three.
Oh, we have three. Hello, Chief.
So, Commissioners, Commissioner Chair, thank you for having us today. We have a few handouts and a couple goodies for you guys. But as you guys have heard from, I'm sure, Commissioner Justice, that the Hunting Arts Festival is this Saturday.
Yes.
It's going to air on Bay News 9 on Thursday.
Chief. Nice to see
We did a
you.
filming yesterday. ABC News is going to be covering their event on Saturday.
It's under
And this is all
$50, right?
possible through funding that we are getting through partnerships. No, Janet, that's not yours. Excuse me, Ms. Long.
Oh, my gosh.
So we wanted to make sure every commissioner got something,
Whoa.
and everybody's got the same thing. It's just you got the box.
Well, how lovely. So before you say one more word.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be quiet.
Madam Attorney,
If it's under
is
$100.
this okay for us to take? I'm just making sure.
Inside, right?
So what's inside? That's correct.
Oh, yeah, it's under $100.
It's a little bit of honey.
Yeah.
We're okay
Yeah,
to
I was,
proceed.
see, I said
Well,
that
we
jokingly, but I was
appreciate
being
that.
serious.
And thank you
'cause
very, very much.
We've got several partners that have agreed to partner for 2 to 3 years in the Lillman community to promote these events. Crown, Duke Energy, the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay, HCA, Pinellas County, and then we have several nonprofits in the community and our Lillman Fire Department. And Brittany is handling this stuff for us this year. She's coordinating everything because being at the Florida Dream Center, I don't have a lot of time to do that.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing.
And so all the nonprofits and, you know, the leaders of the community came together. We raised over $80,000 to put these events together. And it's going to be a great event at the Honey and Arts event. We're going to have 3 bands, La Lucha, Pink Streets, who's a local band in Lillman, and then we're going to have the Black Honkies. And so we're going to have a huge draw, we think. Arts and crafts, wood carving, glass blowing. What am I missing, Brittany?
We have a restaurant row with hand-selected food trucks. Also, we have different classes that people can take to expand on their artistic creativity and capabilities. And we have every single honey vendor that will be there has an educational piece, whether it be a live hive or a beekeeper uniform or a timeline. But either way, we tried to incorporate education into every single vendor setup that's there.
And the best part about this, the admission is free, parking is free. The sheriff's department's going to be coordinating and making sure everything's going well. We got traffic signs up. We're using a couple vacant lots that we're going to be able to park in, and we're expecting 3,000 plus people to the
How
Lillman
lovely.
community.
We certainly have
And
come a long way, haven't we?
This is one of the shirts that are going to be available.
Nice.
And then all the workers and volunteers are going to be wearing yellow shirts that say volunteer on them with all the sponsors on the back of the shirt.
Excellent.
So that's what we're doing in Lillman right now.
Amazing. I remember when we first started on this project, thanks to Commissioner Justice and all his hard work, and you too, Steve. Like I said, Chief, we have all come a very long way.
Well, we appreciate what you guys have done and what you continue to do for Lillman.
Thank you.
It's already bringing attention to the Lillman area. Personally, out of the thousands of conversations I've had to have with possible attendees as well as vendors, many of them didn't know where Lillman was.
I bet.
Right, and so not only is it bringing attention to the area, but it's a positive attention, which is really desired.
So we hope to see everybody on Saturday.
Wonderful. So before you
Yes,
go,
ma'am.
Commissioner Peters, do you have anything to add? Since I can't see you, I'll be asking you that
That's for
throughout the
Peters.
meeting.
And that's okay. I do not have anything else to add. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
And it was great work.
This is for Commissioner Peters.
Oh, and we have a gift for you too, Commissioner Peters. The chief is making sure you're not excluded.
In your gift boxes.
Thank you, Chief.
In your
Yes,
gift
ma'am.
boxes, you have a VIP parking pass. You also have a local honey, and the honey, the beekeepers company is listed there on the tag. Please do join us. You also have 2 VIP wristbands that ensure that you have drinks on us all day long.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There you go.
Let's all just pray for good weather.
It's supposed to be in the 70s, a little windy, but it's supposed to be good.
Excellent.
This is fabulous, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you
Madam
again,
Chair.
Commissioners.
Thank you so much.
If I could just,
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on one
no, I just
moment.
wanted to add my thanks to all the work that you all have put in. This is a long time coming, and Tom and everyone on our staff that's partnering, and it's going to be a great day Saturday. So
So, you know, we really like Tom, and he's done a great job, but sometimes we think we work for Tom.
I bet.
he told me he thinks he works for you.
Oh, yes, okay. Well, thank you again, Commissioners, and happy
you.
Valentine's, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Fabulous, fabulous. That is so nice.
Isn't that great? Okay, and what?
No, that's all. Nothing. Nothing. I'm just making sure.
Okay, well, I already did that one.
I love honey in my
Thank
tea.
you for helping me. Okay, next we have the National Biodefense Group, Angela Taylor Sweet. Angela, are you here?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
we got to run the clock.
Yes.
Well, right, but she isn't up here yet. Just hold on a second. Welcome, Angela.
Good. You're good.
You're good.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. It's my honor to be here before the County Commissioner's Office, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And The Urban Technology Institute, a designated digital disruptive engine with the capacity to streamline policies and practice that impede potential and sustain poverty, to codify resilience and administrate sustainable social change. Since Florida leads the nation in formative digital acceleration, yet find bridging the achievement and digital divide problematic for decades. The National Council on Educational Policy, Urban Technology Institute, and the Concerned Citizens for Quality Education for Black Students endorse issuing an Emancipation Proclamation to absolve policies and practice of the Florida Department of Education to ensue workforce development consolidation alternative to contemptuous compulsory education. Additionally, the policy analysis establishes digital equity as a national biodefense strategy. Climate change is not going away. Health crisis on the rise, it's rising. And unless we attend to this climate change adaptation strategy nationally, but certainly here in the state of Florida, the Urban Technology Institute proposes to present a proposal to get us in line with this. And additionally, regional economic development reform, alignment with workforce development consolidation strategies, climate change adaptation strategies is imperative for survival on this earth and to achieve environmental justice for all.
Thank you, Madam, for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And next we have David Happy. Welcome, David. How are you?
Good morning, thank you. Good
Morning.
morning, friends and liberals. I'm sorry I was late this morning. My bus I'm not on the PSTA board, so I don't have a bus stop right in front of my house, so I wasn't able to get here on time. I apologize for that. Miss County Attorney, thank you for responding to the email I wrote a couple weeks ago. I'm sure when you have time, you'll be able to respond to that. And I really was thankful, Ms. Chair, that you deferred over to the county attorney on the gratuity policy. Mr. Burton, you may want to take a note because I inquired about the gratuity policy and he told me that county attorney didn't have jurisdiction over that when it came to the PSTA giving out gratuities, that they were self-governed even to county commissioners. So I rise this morning to ask a favor of our PSTA watchdogs. It's come to my attention that y'all, anyone that serves on the PSTA, is given an annual unlimited bus pass in excess of the $100 that you inquired about. And there's a reason that the citizens have a $100 reporting requirement. So if you are going to take gifts that are in excess of $100, you have a fiduciary obligation to report those gratuities on a quarterly basis. So if you're on the PSTA board, and I'm referring to past commissioners, not necessarily current, but it would be our request and expectation that you would report these gratuities that are in violation of the law if you don't, an annual bus pass, if you happen to have a bus location that was moved directly in front of your home. So I guess I never realized the irony of having your county commission meetings here at the courthouse, because for past commissioners that may have made things a little more convenient. You could kind of kill two birds with one stone when you jumped on the bus to come down here and maybe stop down the hall before you came to the county commission meeting. But my request is very simple. Either refuse and turn down the bus pass because on an annual basis, it's not something that's available to me as a taxpaying citizen. So either you shouldn't have it, or at a minimum, under Florida state law, you should be reporting that as a gratuity or as a gift that is in excess of your $100 quarterly reporting. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Happy, for your comments. And next we have Life Answers. Jabril Omar Kidd.
How y'all doing today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
It don't matter which mic I use, right?
Just pull them together. They both will
Yeah.
pick you up.
For sure. How y'all doing today? I'm gonna ask y'all one more time. Good. For sure. Honestly, I came up here on a whim. It's amazing that I'm here to see all of you supporting the county. I'm a little nervous, but I'm really just coming up here. I'm not really asking for anything. I just want to give you guys thanks for all that you guys do. Everyone that's also within this room. I don't know any of you guys, but y'all doing y'all thing. Y'all look good today too. Yeah. Honestly, I just want to give an account on hope. I just ask that we all come together, understand one another, because we are all kind of the same. We all go through tough times. We all go through rough patches in our life, but at the end, we just have to truly begin to understand that we have to understand one another and begin to love one another. That's how we become stronger as a community, as a county. I'm not from here. I'm from Jersey. This is different. I ain't never expect to be here just standing in front of y'all. I love to see it. It's different, man. Yeah, beautiful, man. Put a smile on your face, man. Yeah, tripping. But, yeah, really, I'm not asking for nothing, but I ask that we just all come together and understand one another and look at things from a different point of view. Instead of the cup being half empty, let's see it as half full. Thank you guys for your time, and I'm out.
Very nice message. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day as well.
Next, we have Greg Pound. Good morning.
Good morning. Greg Pound, Largo, Florida. The issue I want to bring up is what's going on with our families in Pinellas County. Now, this is a letter from the AFA, American Family Association, to me as Greg Pound. I was head of the chapter of AFA here in Pinellas County. And so I started working with families. This is 1992, and I've been working to defend families since then. And Pinellas County now, because of my exposure, because of me exposing the corruption through DCF, the people in the judicial system using children for federal grant money called cooperative agreement contracts. And then after they get the children, they put them in classes where this is the stuff they're supposed to teach them. This is at 5 years old. Touching their sexual organs for pleasure is normal. Now listen to this one at 6. That sexual identity includes sexual orientation, lesbians, gays, straights, and bisexuals. Now this is what they're supposed to teach the children at 6 years old and 5 years old. Now would you want someone teaching your children that? See, while they're scooping up the children for federal grant money, and this has all been presented to Robert Guattari, and he wouldn't look at it, by a law professor, Kathy Corey, who's an activist in Pinellas County. And they tried to present it to him, and this is when he was the attorney for Jim Coates, and he wouldn't look at it. So these guys are not only aiding and abetting, they're a part of the problem. And I've got one article after another of politicians in this county molesting children, from the Largo Police Department to officers on the Sheriff's Department. I mean, it goes one right after another, and they're all being protected. Okay, and so instead of them coming in and wanting my information so they could help me, they attack my family. So they come after me and attack my family. And you can read the news articles. I mean, there's just one right after another. But, I believe that Jeffrey Epstein and his little island where he was getting all those little children and using them for sex when you read this article right here, this is in Florida. It says as she was just doing her job, but she discovered that children were missing out of DCF. Where'd they go? Well, I don't know. They say don't you're digging a little bit too deep. 17 years in DCF, and then they shut her down. See, and so what happens is we have a pedophile ring, and the way they're doing it, these sodomites are coming in. Did you see how many pastors are falling into sexual affairs in this county? Do you know why? Because they're being seduced. They're coming in and destroying their congregation, destroying our faith, destroying our families, and they want to seduce the politicians too. They're after anybody they can defame and go ahead and make us look like a bunch of animals, and that's what they're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Pound.
Yep.
Next is David Ballaghettis Jr.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. David Ballard Geddes Jr. I live on Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. A lawyer and his law firm in Dunedin was hired by my father to oversee my father's last will and testament. Months after my father's funeral, I was finally given a Xerox copy of a will from this particular lawyer, and to the best of my knowledge, this does not appear to be my father's will, nor does this signature on this will appear to be my father's signature. The signature appears to be a forgery. My mother seems to have dismissed my father's will in light of her own intentions and forged her signature as my father's signature in on this copy of a document that is not my father's will in all appearances. I do not recognize this signature as my father's signature. This signature appears to be my mother, accompanied by this lawyer, forging my father's signature on a will that is not my father's will. It appears both my mother and this lawyer have betrayed my father's last will and testament, trespassing on the dignity, dishonoring my father's namesake and his will. Based on Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of this U.S. Constitution, does the county promote business practices within the city that deliberately deceives and betrays their customers, that backstabs and dishonors the defenseless, and abuses the structure of law in premeditated and perfunctory ways, using fraudulent business means, practicing in malicious legal undertakings, hoping for unscrupulous gains, monetary or otherwise, allowing businesses to embed themselves within the law only to abuse the law in deliberate double-crossing and betrayal of whom such legal practice has been paid to protect and serve, fraudulently forging their livelihood on the double-crossing and backstabbing of those who are no longer alive to defend themselves. Should my mother have, conspiring with this attorney, corrupted and forged my father's will, they have committed a crime. To betray my father's last will and testament is to take the posture of warfare upon the namesake of my father's will. I take this situation before me to be one of the most serious and unacceptable moments of my life, both working within and without the confines of law. I see it as I see it, the law has been gravely abused by those entrusted to uphold the law. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And that is the end of our citizens to be heard portion of the agenda. And now we are on to our public hearings and Countywide Planning Authority, agenda number 4.
One more. Oh, yeah, right there.
Right, but it's agenda number 10.
It's the pastor who normally speaks.
I'm so sorry. Life's Answers, is that
What's his name?
Pastor Matt?
Yeah, that's him.
Come on up, please. I apologize to you.
morning, Commissioner.
Good morning. Good morning.
It almost looked like I was going to be eliminated today. I'm thinking this is
Oh, no,
Valentine's
I'm so
Day.
sorry.
Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. You know, I was just sitting there listening. Now, I'm always encouraged about people working hard and doing great things for life. I have so appreciated being a part of Pinellas County and the country, the United States. You know, I kind of told you guys about a while back. I was a young guy. I went into the United States Marine Corps and really not understanding life at all. You know, I came from a family, they kind of religious. They kind of believed about God and church and this kind of thing, but they had no real biblical foundation of what life was about. So now here I am. I'm out of high school, and I'm going into the Marine Corps, and I'm thinking, once I get into the Marine Corps, I'll find out what life's about. You know, I came from a family where I had all girls, 8 of them, and then it was 3 of us guys, and I'm the first one. So I learned a lot about how women do things, okay? I'm not a woman, though. But then finally, I'm confused because I got these women, I got these guys that I'm associating with, and I got the country that I'm trying to find out what's really going on. And so I missed a lot. But when I got into the Marine Corps, I was so sure that the Marines would teach me really what life's about. And so I got into the Marines, and believe it or not, I was still kind of confused because Marines, they had a place for people for whatever you believed in. Kind of like the country today, confused. Say whatever you believe is okay. And so, man, that didn't hit me too well. Next thing I know, make a long story short, I'm in Vietnam. And man, I'm thinking, man, I'm in Vietnam. I'm only 19 years old. Now, what if I get killed over here? I still don't know what life's about. But I prayed a prayer. I said, God, if you're for real, I mean, if you're somebody that we need to know, I need to know you. And would you believe God had me go all the way through Vietnam? I did. Marine was doing 13 months. I did 11 months. And then they called us out. And I concluded when I left Vietnam, I said, you know what? It cannot be no God. As I came back to the country with that kind of a concept, I didn't find the Lord. But I did find the Lord later on as I had got into the world. My life was completely turned upside down, and I didn't have nowhere to go. And God said, well, here I am. And that's all I'm saying to us. God is saying, here I am.
Amen.
So think about who Jesus is, because that's the only way to God. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Is there anyone else that I have? No, they're telling me I've got everybody except for the agenda item 10, a person. Okay, we're good. All right, so on to agenda item 4. Barry, would you like to speak to it, or the Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Agenda item, excuse me, number 4 is case number CW 2301. This is a proposal by the City of St. Petersburg to amend the countywide plan map from public, semi-public to residential low-medium regarding 4.4 acres more or less located at 2624, 2642, 2702, 2710, 2714, 2720, and 2730 Union Street and Lakewood Estates. The public hearing was properly advertised, and an affidavit of publication has been received for filing. No correspondence has been received, and the matter is properly before the authority to be heard.
All right, colleagues, what are your wishes? Any questions,
No questions.
concerns?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Scott and a second from Commissioner Flowers. Please open the voting card so that we can vote.
Madam Chair, I'm a yes. I don't have my thing working yet.
And I'm a yes, mine is, card is,
Voting card won't work for Commissioner Peters.
and, well, they put her down as a yes. I'm a yes.
I'm a yes as well.
okay?
She was just saying her
So
thing.
the motion passes unanimously. All right, and now we are on consent, and I am going to pull item number 10 because we have a person to be heard on that one. What are your wishes? Do you want to vote on everything else? Is there anything else to be pulled?
Move approval on the balance of the consent.
Okay?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, are you good? Open the card and we'll vote.
Again, Madam
Usually
Chair, I'm a
do-
yes.
We usually do a voice vote on the consent.
Voice vote.
A voice
So it's
vote?
fine.
Everybody says yes?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and now I'd like to call up David Ballaghettis Jr. again. You have an issue with item 10?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. David Ballard Geddes Jr. I live on Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. After reviewing agenda item 10 here, this fence company is being awarded it appears to be a $10 million contract for fencing to circumnavigate the cities of Dunedin, Pinellas Park, Clearwater, Tarpon Springs. Is this fencing the building of a wall around the jurisdiction of the city for the purpose of what? And why now? Is the engineering of this fencing part of an undeclared wartime measure? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Ballaghettis Jr. Do we have any questions from the board?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and would you like to open the card and? Commissioner Peters, what is your vote?
Again, it's a yes. I apologize, but my card is not working.
I'm a yes.
No
Mine's
worries.
not working either.
Commissioner Peters, your voting card won't work remotely, so you always have to vote with a voice vote.
Okay, I'll try not to forget you, Kathleen, but if I do, just pipe in.
I promise I will, and thank you, Barry, and I will stop trying.
And I'm a yes as well. Right, so that passes unanimously. And now we are on to item 14.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item number 14 is purchasing authorization with service wear apparel for uniform requirements for various county departments.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Can we open the card? And Commissioner Peters, your vote is
I'll be a yes, please.
yes for Commissioner Peters.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Well, I'm a yes. I just haven't come up
Commissioner
yet.
Flowers is a yes.
It hasn't come up, but.
I'm a yes, but I didn't push any button or say anything, and my yes popped up there. So,
Something's going on.
I think it's a message.
Gotta get this
I mean,
fixed.
is
the
there an issue with the
balloons in
system
the
this
air.
morning? I mean,
It's not a full moon, so. Because his was working and isn't now. Mine wasn't, it is now, so.
We may need to look at a new,
Yeah.
that's another
Chinese
meeting day,
balloons.
but- That's another meeting day, but yeah, this needs to work properly.
All right, so are we good? We have all the votes on that one. Perfect. Okay, number 15.
Commissioners, this resolution is approving the establishment and formation of an auditor selection committee for a new external auditor. The Florida statutes require a formation of this committee. The committee shall consist of the clerk of the circuit court, the sheriff, supervisor of elections, property appraiser, tax collection, and one appointment from the Board of Commissioners.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, but has the county commission appointed anyone to that?
yes.
Yeah, that was at the last committee. That was at the last meeting you made your selection.
Okay, well, I forgot. Do we want to reiterate who that is for the benefit of the audience?
I would, but I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I apologize.
Work session.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Commissioner.
You come to save the
Morning.
day.
It's actually Tim Shoby, who he worked for the county about 10 years ago, and he's qualified. You all appointed him at the last meeting. So,
Okay, thank you so
Sure.
much for reminding us all. All right, and so, do we have a motion and a second on
Yes,
that one
yes, we
already?
do, yeah.
Okay, then is the card working now, or don't we know? I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm a yes.
This is working, ours isn't working.
All right, so we're good. That motion passed unanimously. Number 16,
This is purchasing authorization with Control Technologies for traffic signal electrical parts related to the Route 60 Smart Corridor project. This project is done in conjunction with the state. It's actually the equipment's being purchased off of state of Georgia open contract. And 100% of the funding is from Florida DOT.
Move approval.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, we have the card.
I'm a yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Peters is a yes.
Ooh, it came up.
It's up on there, but it's not up on my screen. But everybody else.
on mine.
Okay, I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Walt is missing.
Man worked that time.
Okay, that motion passed unanimously. Number 17,
It's a Transportation Regional Initiative Program grant agreement and resolution with the Florida Department of Transportation. Again, this is for ATMS system improvements on I-75 and I-375 down to Bay Shore Drive in downtown St. Petersburg. The funding is split between us and the state.
what do
Move
you,
approval?
been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Flowers. Want to try the card again?
My 16 is still up, not my 17, but I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Now my 17's up.
Commissioner Peters?
I'm a yes, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Peters is a yes.
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 Okay, and now we are on to number 18.
Commissioners, we would ask for this item be removed. There are some changes needed in the attachments, and so we'd like to bring this back.
Are they, I'm sorry, Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they substantial changes or just kind of nuances in the language?
No, they're more than ministerial. There's some items that need to be fixed, and so we would rather take it to where you can see exactly what the changes are.
Thank you.
Just when you bring that back, can somebody will be ready to maybe speak to some of those improvements that you're talking about doing?
Correct, we will.
Okay.
There's some things that are wrong in
Okay.
the attachments, so
Thank
we
you.
want to make sure they're right before they come to you.
Okay, so we have an appointment to the Emergency Medical Services Medical Control Board. And
Yep, 2 reappointments and 2 appointments.
what are the wishes of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Eggers, second by Commissioner Justice. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we have a majority vote. Madam Clerk, can you please make sure you have that? Okay. Item 20,
Under item number 20, we are not going to ask the board to take action on this today. I know that Mr. Kroll explained the process that is required for dealing with the arbitration determination in this case at your work session last week. Unfortunately, we have not received a decision yet in this case, so there is nothing to take action on as of yet. I will say that because some of the time constraints that we will need to deal with once we do receive that arbitration decision, which again, I know that Mr. Kroll spoke with you about last week, we will be seeking to hopefully have this on either at your next meeting, or we'll need to figure something out since you don't meet again until a month after that. So again, no action today, but hopefully we will be able to be in a position to take action at your next meeting.
okay.
And I have no reports.
Thank you so much. Item 21, you just said you had no reports.
No reports.
Okay. And then next is the county administrator reports.
2 reports, Commissioners. First, the good news is we got $10 million from the state for septic to sewer. So we'll be able to
Nice.
use that to match our ARPA money that you put to be able to begin to get more people off the sewer and into public sewer system.
Off the septic and onto sewer.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
We knew what you meant.
I'm not, so, the bad news is I have to renew our property, and liability insurance. And we just got a report back on that it's gonna go from $12.1 million to just over $14 million. Had we not made some educated changes to some of the policy limits and things like that, putting a little more risk on us, it would have went up to, over $15 million. So we're seeing, we're seeing significant increases, as we've seen with commodities and everything else across the board. This is just another item that I wanted to make you aware of. It is within my authority to extend it, and we really don't have a choice. And it's due here in March, by March 1st. So I wanted to bring it to you and explain it, but there's several different changes that we're making within it. But these we're seeing, again, across the board, it's another significant increase.
This is property?
It's property and liability. So it covers our property, it covers our sovereign immunity bill limits. It's more restrictive on our terrorism liability, fuel tank liability. It's all of those various areas.
So I find it especially appropriate that we're having this conversation right now. It's a great example, and I hope, Mr. Rose, you are paying attention to that, of the unforeseen circumstances that arise that we, as a county commission, have no control over. And so when it comes to the time in our budget process that we have to start talking about the real dollars that it's costing to provide the services that we do in this county, which always in my head equates to quality of life that our citizens have come to expect. These are the kind of things you have to keep in the back of your mind about what you may encounter a whole year forward in advance that we can't control. I just think it's worth pointing that out for
Comment.
Commissioner Scott.
right? Don't you? Oh, yeah, Commissioner Edwards.
No, I agree with those comments, and certainly, we feel the pain here in the budget process. I have heard, I know many of us have heard from residents around this county that are really getting some surprises in their property insurance. And I know that's one of the priorities up in Tallahassee, to look at that system. It's not going to get fixed quick and easy, but I do know that that continues to be an emphasis of importance from us to our legislative delegation. But it's something that many, many folks are struggling big time with. So anyway, just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you so much for saying that, Commissioner Eggers, because it begs me to call on Commissioner Peters to share with us maybe some of the information that you've just found out at NACO on this issue.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I was thinking the same thing. So
There you go, great minds
what
think
I
alike.
First and foremost, what I would like to do is encourage more of my colleagues on this commission to join NACO in the conversation, the education that you can get at their conference it's incredible. I highly, highly recommend some of you to consider. We have a lot involved in fact, but I think it'd be great if we kind of had half on NACO and half on fact. But let's get to the point on insurance. There are numerous options that Congress can take that can relieve us in insurance, and one of them would be eliminating the interest rate on the debt for insurance. And if we eliminated the interest rate, it would really make a difference on the policy costs. So, and I'm just going to give you one because I don't have them all right in front of me, but NACO has a policy, they have a policy recommendation, and I'm happy to get it for you, on several things that Congress can do that can really relieve the burden that has been put on our citizens in the state of Florida. And so I really think that this is not just a state issue, this is a federal issue with FEMA. And FEMA runs independently, and FEMA needs to understand and get the pressure from our local elected officials all over the country, but definitely in Florida, on actions that they can take to make it affordable. You know, when we talk about affordable housing, insurance is expected to decline exponentially. And so it's not even going to be the cost of rent or the cost to buy a home. It's going to be the cost to insure your home. That's going to make living in Florida unaffordable. And there are several recommendations that are coming out of NACO that I think are sound recommendations that we need to advocate to our congressional delegation, and flood insurance is going to be a real big one. So I do encourage my colleagues, maybe those that aren't on FACT, to encourage you to get onto NACO. Just the education element is definitely worth it. The leadership skills you'll get is definitely worth it. But it's issues like this that we need to be educated on and not just assume the state's going to take care of it.
And to Commissioner Peters' point, Barry, I really think that this is a large enough issue that at one of our very numerous workshops that we do as we're entering into the budget process, that we do have time to really hear some solid information about this subject matter. Now, a lot of you know that in the past I have had a big background in the issue of insurance, and as far back as when Bob Graham was governor of this state, he was advocating for a national catastrophic fund, which has never happened and has been impossible to get the Midwest and the western states to get on board with that. All right, fast forward till today, and you know that as a result of the new weather extremes that are happening all over the country, it may be time to bring that thought process forward again, and I think we ought to be more educated than we are about this subject matter, because otherwise it's our citizens that are going to suffer greatly. And after the horrific storm that really turned the south part of our coast upside down with Ian, I venture to say this is not going to get better anytime soon, and we need to be prepared. So hopefully you can weave that in as you're just looking at me with like,
I've got it.
okay, good.
Staff
Commissioner
takes,
Scott.
they take notes.
Okay, good. I know they do. I just wanted to say all that. Thank you for allowing me the time. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a comment and question for Barry is that in the special session here, HB 401 would significantly increase the limits on sovereign immunity. I cannot imagine Governor DeSantis signing that, but if it did, that would put an insurance in a very different perspective and would probably take that premium that we're talking now and probably double it. But Barry, you mentioned that it would have been much higher if we didn't make some tweaks to the policy. I'm kind of assuming that we probably increased our self-insured retention. Can you speak to that a little bit?
So I'll have staff come up. Joe, you want to come up and speak to those? But to your point, Commissioner, for instance, and it would cost us an additional $150,000 if they increase that deductible up, to $1 million. I mean, it just depends on what type of piece that we have. So they've made changes throughout, but you're right, we have some other risk out there. So.
I'm going to let our insurance expert, Rick Kaler, our insurance manager, discuss that and really go into detail with you, Commissioner. Great. Go ahead. Explain what we did.
We were faced with a tremendous property insurance
Wait,
renewal.
before you start, could you say your name?
I'm Rick Kaler. I'm the insurance manager, Department of Administrative Services.
Great, thank you.
We sort of got a shot over the bow warning from our brokers that property insurance was just out of sight this year. We ended up looking at a 47% property insurance rate increase. And it's not that we're doing things wrong. Our loss history is stellar. It's the insurance market itself. It's something we have little control of. To give you an idea of our loss history, we had a $700,000 claim about 3 years ago, and we had a very large claim at the solid waste facility, but those are the only two claims that we've ever paid from our property insurance for. And the one at the solid waste claim, I believe, was 2013. So we were faced with this increase. Our insurance program, we have currently a total of $200 million worth of coverage for all county properties. And then we have a $100,000 deductible for property coverage. Because of the rate increase, we had to make some changes. First of all, our carriers were hesitant to give us the full $200 million. So we have reduced our overall limit to $175 million. The other portion of this is that we added 20% coinsurance, which is similar to your health insurance program. You go to the doctor, you pay 20%. So we're doing 20% now up to $75 million. So that's $15 million of potential impact to the county in the event of a severe disaster. So when I became the insurance manager here in 2019, we've made some changes all along because the market has trended up since I started here, and we've gotten rid of the low-hanging fruit, but right now we're down to where changes on the insurance are really having a big impact on the county, or at least could if we experience some type of disaster. And that's why I'm thankful that I can present this to you to let you know what's going on with the insurance market, and I would welcome a work session to go into it in further detail.
It's a really complicated subject matter, if you don't mind me speaking of. And I'm curious about who our reinsurer might be.
We actually have a layered insurance program. We have a total of about 16 insurance carriers carrying our property insurance. Most of them are out of London. We do have a company called FM Global, which particularly insures our best protected buildings, and that would be the solid waste facility and the utilities properties, the ERB building, and the public safety campus.
Do you know what as a result of Ian, I mean, it's been years since I've had my eye on the technicalities of this whole thing, but do you have any idea what the new numbers are on the air models for catastrophic loss in our region if it were an Ian-type storm?
I appreciate that question because each year we get models from our insurance broker telling us about the maximum potential based on their models. And we have always mirrored our upper limit, this $200 million limit. And we expand further. For named storm and for flood coverage, we're limited to $100 million currently. And that was the exposure models. We were very close to that for a 1,000-year prediction. We met with finance and some other people, and this year we're sort of bumping our expectations down or praying that we go with a 500-year model.
Well, what happened to the 100-year model? Did they stop doing that?
They do a 100-year model, and we can do that, but then that model projects our maximum loss at 50 million.
I'm surprised it's million. I would have thought it would have been in the billions.
No. No, it's actually a very small portion of the total potential. And, you know, most of our buildings are pretty well built.
Okay, so right now you are talking about our county buildings.
Yes.
In my world, as a county commissioner, it's a little more global because I'm talking about entire Tampa Bay. Because usually when we talk about loss, we're talking about the storm coming up the bay at the right time of the full moon and all of the way the tides are moving at time of day, and that's how they calculate the risk. So it wouldn't be just our buildings that we'd be worried about. I mean, we have a very large population in Pinellas County, and I worry just about the ability to evacuate folks.
Yeah, it's the exposure. The last numbers I heard with Ian was $35 billion in damage.
Pretty big numbers we're talking about here, Commissioner Flowers.
What's typically when you have a loss experience ratio, there's a time frame by which that kind of is supposed to drop off. So what has been our previous loss experience ratio time frame? Because if we had one event in 2013 and then another event, so what's the
It's really not tied to that. It's tied more to the marketplace.
Okay.
I mean, it's more of a thing where if you do have experience, bad experience rate, then they add that onto the rates.
Right.
But we really have a stellar loss rate as far as the county.
Okay. And are we seeing that there are fewer insurance companies that are available to us
Yes.
to become insured by, much like in my world for my home, you know? Okay. And I know we'll be talking much later on, Barry and staff, about the budget for next year. But based on what you're saying as it relates to having to reduce the amount, which is way under what it would take to even bring us partially back on board, I think we may want to have a discussion about what we're doing in reserves. I know that we probably will never have enough in reserves that would bring us back to where we are now, should there be a catastrophic storm, or should we actually get hit like Fort Lauderdale in parts of Sarasota, Manatee. But if we're having to take a reduction in coverage, we certainly will we're gonna have to pay that 20%, plus whatever on top of that.
Right.
So it'll be, I think, an opportunity to bring maybe that into the discussion.
Yeah, Commissioners, we will have, we're going to look at all of these types of inflationary increases, and we'll have that discussion as part of the opening with the budget. So that, okay, here's where we begin from. We're also, you've asked for a conversation about our reserve levels. Again, staff's preparing that, so we'll have that back to you this spring so we can kind of bring all these together and get ready for beginning our budget process.
And thank you for your offer regarding a workshop. I think that's something, I don't know if others are interested, but I think that's something, especially now with all that's going on and the fluctuations. We just had a conversation about this, not specifically for Pinellas County, but for all counties that are part of the Regional Planning Council. This was one of our conversations just on yesterday, and how even with FEMA and other federal departments, they cannot be talking to one another, because if they were, there would be a greater and broader strategy on funding sources, who gets, first, second, third, even for homeowners, how are you filing and who's coming in. So anyway, great, thank you so much.
So I just have one more thing I want to point out for information purposes only. When we talk about catastrophic loss or hurricanes or the federal government, the word FEMA always comes up. And I just want you to remember, if you don't remember anything you've ever heard me say, FEMA is an agency in the federal government organizational structure. I don't know where, but they sit out here on their own.
Yeah.
They are not regulated. They don't report to anybody, and no one tells them what to do. I promise you, in the history of insurance in this country, FEMA has never trued up their rates. And if they did, we would all be sitting here between a rock and a very hard place. So keep that in mind as we move forward. FEMA is not the safety net that you may think that it is. Amen. That's all I'm going to say on that, but I could talk all day about it because it makes me so furious.
Madam Chair, I would like to concur on your statements. Thank you. And I
Speak
know
up
that
because we
Nico
can't hear
did-
you.
Oh,
Say that again, we can't hear you.
I want to concur on those statements, and again, that's why NACO is so important on the education level. I didn't understand the independence of FEMA, and you are spot on in your comments, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Peters. Like I always say, great minds think alike. Okay, enough on that. Where did we leave off? Okay, appointment to the Wheelman Community Redevelopment Area Advisory Committee. It's an appointment by the board as a whole. We have ballots, Madam Clerk?
I do have ballots, Madam Chair. However, since there's only one applicant who is eligible and one appointment, I would request a motion and a voice vote, if it would so please the board.
I move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And what are the wishes of the board?
Dominic Haworth.
Shall we take a?
Yeah.
A voice vote, everybody in agreement? Yes, because
Aye.
the card's not working? Yes. It's a yes. Okay, and number 24 is the County Commission new business pertinent timely committee boards, updates, and policy considerations. Let's start with Commissioner Lathala.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I actually have two items that I'd
Okay.
like to discuss. The first one is on Thursday, we talked about the ARPA funding, and I had some questions about that. And I would like to make a motion to revoke the funding for African People's Education and Defense Fund in the amount of $36,801 for a radio station, because I do not think that we should be funding radio stations with the amount of needs that there are in our community.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Latvala and seconded by Commissioner Flowers, and now we open for discussion.
Can I ask a question just about the money going back into the pot? That's the question I want. So do we need to add into that motion that the money, even though I think we know that that's what's going to happen, but do we need to add into the motion that the money go back into the pot for redistribution based on another application process with
I think
PCF,
that's
or do we just?
I think that's implicit in the motion, but you could certainly clarify that to the extent that if you wanted.
Understood, yeah.
And put it in, I would assume, into the same pot of money that it came out of for the same level of
Has to go
nonprofit.
back in that fund.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
She's just making
Making
sure.
sure, because sometimes when you're not clear.
And they are restricted funds, so they would have to go back to the uses that are dictated by law. And I assume that, I know that you have a breakdown as far as like the bigger nonprofits and the smaller, that it would go back into the same pool of
Category.
funds. Yeah, correct.
Okay. That's all.
And I'll amend my motion that the monies go back into
Perfect, thank
their
you.
intended purpose.
Commissioner Eggers?
I don't have any
You didn't have anything? Commissioner Scott?
I mean, I don't have any comments on this.
Oh, yeah, no, I get it.
Okay.
We're going to vote on that?
Yeah, in a minute. I have something I would like to add.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, I was not at the workshop, but I found it staggering. I agree with you, Commissioner Latval, is what I'm trying to say, in your point, that would be, have considered more important by the folks that were doing the filtering than the Feast Pantry in North County, who provides food for families that are struggling to put food on the table. And so I have a big problem with that. And I know we can't control the criteria of where the money goes and all of that, but somewhere in there has to be consideration for the needs of human beings, seems to me. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
And my understanding is that on future lists, we can pull items and kind of give them direction on what we want. And I think prioritizing people over products and things is a good way to start. And so it's my intention to, if there are items such as this, to pull them off a future list that they present to us.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Latvala, because I tried to do that and I did not succeed. So hopefully with your help, we will, Commissioner.
Yeah, I think in our meeting in November, we also talked about there being a third pool of money that we're going to be looking at. And my comment at the time mirrored what you said, and we were going to focus on our residents and the food banks, per se. I think there was another suggestion to another subject matter area to include as well, but the food was going to be that focus point, and I think that's what we really need to be doing, especially during the times that we're experiencing. If you get to any of these food banks right now, you realize that just in the past year or two, the demand is going through the roof in terms of
folks you would have never even thought.
People that were running tight every month are now below the line, and they're trying
Absolutely.
to make ends meet. So anyway, I support your thoughts.
Staggering when you go to the grocery store.
Yep, it is.
I mean, you just I can't get over
What
it.
$100 buys you. You look it down and you go, what?
Nothing.
Yeah. 2 bags.
So I only made
$100.
tuna fish.
Terrible.
Okay, so I think we got the message out there. Barry, do you?
You vote?
I know, I'm just asking. Do you
Yes.
think we need to say
Well,
more?
Yes, and so that was the discussion on Thursday. We're going to bring back you to criteria for that next round of funding. We were setting the stage for, is this the way we're going to go about it? Criteria used in that evaluation process will be key to that, and that'll come back to you.
And when will that come back?
I have to check with staff.
Okay, check with staff. Okay, great. All right, so where'd we leave off
All
here?
in favor on that motion?
Oh, all in favor of Commissioner Latvalas' amended suggestion, motion, whatever?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good job, Commissioner. Yes.
Did we get Kathleen's vote?
I'm sorry?
Commissioner Peters'
Kathleen's
vote.
Oh, Commissioner Peters, hello?
Oh, I'm definitely a yes.
Very good. That passed unanimously, and what's your next concern?
So today, of course, is Valentine's Day.
Yes.
But for some of residents in Florida, it's a very somber and sad day, particularly those in Parkland and the families of 17 Floridians who kissed their kids and spouses goodbye 5 years ago today, sent them off to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where they were murdered that day. And so if it's okay with you, I'd like to read those names of
Please
those
do.
precious folks. Alyssa Aladeth, Scott Beagle, Martin Duque Aquino Jr., Nicholas Dorrit, Aaron Feiss, Jamie Gutenberg, Chris Hickson, Luke Hoyer, Carol Lochran, Gina Montalto, Joaquin Oliver, Elena Petty, Meadow Pollock, Helena Ramsey, Alex Shackner, Carmen Shintrip, and Peter Wang. And I'd just like to add that since that tragedy, no person has done more to keep our students safe and teachers safe at school than our very own Sheriff Gualtieri, who chairs the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas School Safety Commission. And he travels the state investigating that tragedy and how the Florida legislature can improve our the laws. And he's been very integral in the numerous changing of the laws since then.
Couldn't agree with your comments more, Commissioner, and thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Commissioner Eggers.
Well, first of all, Commissioner Latvala, thank you for reminding us. It's amazing how busy we get going in life, and so many things come and go, and there's been a lot of tragedies of different types along the way. But bringing that back is really sobering. I can't imagine losing a child of any, for whatever reason, but certainly that just is so gripping, and so I appreciate you bringing that back to us today. Real quickly, I'll try to get through as quick as I can. I have the MPO meeting we had this month. I'll send out a summary. There's quite a bit of things we went through. I just pay particular notice to the reapportionment piece that you'll see. Just they're talking about reapportioning the board. And that discussion in light of the fact that there's also a regional MPO discussion going on. So just pay attention to that piece, but I'll send that update around to everybody. There was no Tampa Bay water meeting since the last one, and I reported on that at our last meeting in January. I wanted to congratulate everybody that was involved with the Maroney Foundation. That apparently was a very successful evening, and due to some family emergency, I couldn't attend, but I understand it went very well. So appreciate everybody's involvement and participation, and this board participating in that celebration of our first responders. Welcome Back Blue Jays at TD Park in Dunedin is this Sunday, a week from Sunday. So looking forward to that. And on the same note, the Governor's Baseball Dinner, which happens in a city around the state each spring training, is going to be at TD Park in Dunedin this Thursday night at 6. I think it's going to be a small group of folks that get together and talk about the future or the current state of spring training. So that's exciting. Then I just wanted to mention to everybody should have gotten an invitation for the GDP, which is Gladys Douglas Park Trail opening. I think that's on the 25th as well at 10 a.m. It suggests that we get there a little bit early because it's going to be pretty crowded. So just making sure everybody got that, and if you didn't, just let me know. And the two final things, I'm glad you recognized all the engineers. It's a super duper. You could have kept talking. You could have kept talking more and more about engineers.
I should have recognized
no,
you.
but
I'm
but,
so sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just by education, not by practicing.
Civil, yeah,
I
civil
just
engineering.
wanted to make sure.
But just for the, I never practiced it. My colleagues at Duke would always told me that if you did, tell us the bridge that you designed and we'll stay away from it. So I never did get into the practicing of engineering, but I appreciate it. And folks that are thinking about that, you can use that skill set in just about every aspect of life. Seriously, I'm not trying to be over talking it, but it is really a great skill set. I've used it in construction work. I've used it in real estate. It goes on and on. So just a plug
And
for
here with your critical thinking skills.
There
It's
you go.
important, too.
Absolutely. So anyway, and finally, I just wanted to wish my wife a happy Valentine's Day, and to all of you out there, happy Valentine's Day. That's all.
You just got three
all I
good
got.
points.
What's that?
You got 3 good points.
Only 3.
You're on a roll, Commissioner Eggers.
That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to echo everything that Commissioner Egger said about Fort Pinellas meeting, and also in advance of that meeting, there was the board member orientation, which I attended as well, found it very informative. And last week, I had the opportunity to continue my county listening tour and met with fleet management, which is certainly within my wheelhouse, so I very much enjoyed talking shop with the guys and gals at fleet management, so thanks staff for that. Also toured animal services, very interesting, and it took a lot of effort to not leave with another dog.
I was just going to ask if you went home with a pet.
Yeah, it came pretty close. But anyways, that was good, so I want to thank staff for that. I also had an opportunity to do a walking tour of the West Klosterman Preserve last week, which was very nice, and I can certainly understand why they want to preserve that. And then finally, I did a walking history tour of Tarpon Springs. That was quite interesting as well. So I just want to thank staff and everybody that helped me participate in that, and that's it.
Very good. You're a very busy county commissioner.
Yeah.
Good job. It's a big county, right?
It is a very big county.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a lot more to see.
Absolutely. Commissioner Flowers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I unfortunately was laid up for 2.5 weeks almost, so I wasn't able to attend several meetings that I'm responsible for. So but I have followed up, just getting information and seeing what I need to do. One of the things that I was scheduled to do was to attend NACO. I've been appointed to a number of committees based on what I do on the Florida Association of Counties, but had to cancel my reservation. So Commissioner Peters, I would have been with you, and I see that you all had just a wonderful agenda regarding information for both urban and rural communities. So I'm glad that you are having a really good time and getting a lot of good information there. I did have a chance, though, to attend a meeting on yesterday, which was my first meeting with the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, and with the new chair and with the executive director, attending the budget meeting, which the organization not only is on sound financial footing, but they officially paid off the mortgage. So they don't have a mortgage anymore. We don't have a mortgage anymore. And we are renegotiating contracts, extending the contracts for organizations that currently rent out of the building, which is Healthy Start, and it's one other organization that's there. We talked about a number of things. Again, excellent bead on FEMA, because that was one of the conversations about, again, the disjointedness, even of when they're coming into a community and what their function is and how they operate, and getting information out to people who need services and who are looking for help. So all I can say is if we ever have that type of situation, I think we need to just look at how we can help our residents, and then when FEMA comes, or whatever they provide, that's what they do. So I really enjoyed that, but hopefully you all will attend the Resiliency and Sustainability Conference. Thank you so much, Commissioner Long, for all of your hard work in getting that going. I attended the Sustainability and Resiliency Conference and was delighted to serve as one of the speakers on affordable housing. But we will be having that conference again, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You can register, so please do register to attend if you don't mind. We were to have the conference at the Trade Winds. There were some logistical issues that occurred there, so we had to move it to the Hilton on Clearwater Beach. So that is where it will be. May 3rd in the evening is kind of like a welcoming reception. And then May 4th and May 5th are the hard meats of the matter. It's my understanding that staff with the Regional Planning Council has been working with the governor's office, and the governor's supposed to be there along with Mr. Wilt Simpson. So if that does occur, I'll make sure I get that information out to you guys as well. But hopefully you'll be able to attend. Some really great information is going to be shared on sustainability and resiliency, focusing as much on resiliency as anything else. I will be attending a virtual meeting with CareerSource, and we're just talking about our audit processes. But thus far, we've had a clean audit. We've had no issues or concerns. We still have not heard back regarding any decisions about the determination for lowering the number of districts for CareerSource boards, and whether or not our board will remain intact or if we will be absorbed by someone else. But as soon as we get that information, I certainly will share it with you. And then Commissioner Eggers, I'm not sure if I could ask you this and not violate the sunshine, so that's why I'm asking publicly. There was a question at the Regional Planning Council about Tampa Bay water. And some information was provided, and I didn't think the information was accurate, so I want to just ask the question. I know that we combine and pool our water resources. And there was questions about Southwest Florida water management and Tampa Bay, our water management. Was there ever a time where, or has there been a decision made that all funding for any other water management organizations or groups have been pulled back and all now sit or reside with Tampa Bay Water? One of the attendees at the meeting yesterday brought that up and was talking about the inability to provide certain services to their communities because of the pullback. She used the word clawback of funding resources, and I've never heard you report that to us. I've never known that to be the case.
Who asked the question?
Oh my God. She's from Manatee. She was there.
Well, say no more.
She was it wasn't the chair. It wasn't the chair. She was representing another commissioner who couldn't make it. Oh my gosh, her name just went out of my head. But I didn't believe that to be the case, but I wanted to just ask, and I didn't want to ask you privily because I didn't want to.
No, I've heard of nothing along, and I'm trying to anticipate what that question, where it was going and what it was about. I can't think of anything where we've usurped funds from another group that allowed us more funds
manage
at
that,
their
yeah.
cost. No, I mean, where we have some issues are with some of our member governments who try to go down a path by themselves. We've kind of pulled that back, and it's really in good stead now. We've all got an interlocal agreement, all 6 groups, so it's really a well-constructed interlocal agreement that keeps us all kind of in the same direction. But no, I haven't heard anything to that extent.
And I did stress that, yes, there is, you giving us reports about what we're doing with the desal plants and expansions and looking to the future for additional water sources. But I had not heard of that. And several other people in the room had heard of it, but you don't want to discount anybody because, something may have come up. But I just wanted to ask the question to make sure so that if anyone's listening, they hear it, and when I go back and report. Because I did tell them we had a member who served on Tampa Bay Water, and I've never gotten that as a report item. So,
No.
And Commissioner Flowers, I do believe the person that was asking the question mixing apples and oranges. So I'll
thank you.
I'll
I
talk with
appreciate that.
Sean and see if it's the same issue I'm thinking about.
And then my last thing was, again, kudos on us receiving some additional money, but I also saw where Pinellas County and Hillsborough County got $2.55 million in some ARPA funding for the housing issues and stuff, because we were good stewards of those dollars and we were able to expend those dollars in areas where they were much needed. So again, just super kudos to, I think, what we're doing, even in partnering, to make sure that those resources get pushed out timely, effectively, and efficiently to those people who need them.
Excellent.
That's it.
Excellent. So for someone who missed 2 weeks, you've been awfully busy.
Well, I was on my emails.
Commissioner Justice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A lot of things and events going on, but just one I'll highlight. had the pleasure of providing welcoming remarks last week to the Visit St. Pete Clearwater Market update. Ruth Eckerd was packed with our industry partners to get the information and to share time together. Steve and the crew did a great job presenting the information and our private partners. So a great afternoon for tourism in Pinellas.
Excellent. Oh, it's my turn. Okay, well, there's been a lot going on from the chair's office since the last time we met. And you wouldn't think that things that are usually handled so easily could percolate up and be more of a concern. So I just want to put this on your radar for your information.
I was giving her my gift.
Uh-oh,
It's Valentine's Day.
you better report that. Anyway. I wanted you to be aware of what the process has been going forward as it relates to replacing our Nikki, who has offered her resignation. And so I hope I haven't caused any of you any ill concerns about it, but several of you have asked some questions, and I thought I would just share the information with everyone. I have been thinking about this very seriously, and it occurs to me that whenever you have a loss or an opening or something out of the norm, it gives you a great opportunity to reassess and rethink how things are working. And since that position was created, and it's been quite some time ago, I thought it would be an interesting exercise to see how the workflow has changed, what might be new today, what the needs are today that maybe weren't the needs back when we first created that position. And that's the exercise I've been diligently trying to work through with the assistance of Barry and his staff and our Rodney. And so we have come to a landing point in terms of revisiting Nikki's position. And that job description was posted, I do believe, late yesterday afternoon. If any of you have any input and/or thoughts, concerns, or things that you think could be working a little differently, please communicate with myself, and I'm happy to weave those into the interview process during the application. After the applications come in, Rodney and his team will be evaluating all of them, looking at the criteria that has been established, and then making recommendations to myself to review. And I have asked Commissioner Peters to join me in reviewing those applications and making a recommendation to all of you for your consideration after you've had a chance to review the applicant and her qualifications. So that's how that's working. I anticipate in about 3 weeks from now, we probably have someone to bring to your attention. And it has caused me to reevaluate a lot of the things that are going on as it relates to our work environment and how it has changed, substantially. So I look forward to bringing all of that to you a little later.
Question on that?
Yes.
So you said you posted, or you think you've posted, so are you posting the qualifications for the job that's currently being
Yes.
Okay, all right,
Yes,
just to make sure. Okay.
because embedded in it are a lot of the criteria that Rodney and I and Barry and Della and I don't know, I've talked to so many people, and some of you have asked as well. Commissioner Eggers, for example, wanted to know if we were going to have a workshop. I do not think it requires scheduling another workshop. It's not, as I understand it, unless you all decide you want to change it, it is not a position that we need to have a public conversation about. It is a position that was created to support the position of the chair. And since I'm not as concerned about my own needs as well as I am the rest of all of you, when next is going to be Commissioner Peters, that's the way it's lined up to be, why I chose to ask her to help. Yes, Commissioner Justice?
Well, there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff
The
there.
hiring has been, as we have it set currently, the hiring is a decision of the chair, not a decision of the board.
Correct.
So that allows those conversations to happen. But if we're talking about revamping the job description or something, I think that is worthy of a work session, at least a conversation at a work session. as you're talking about responsibilities and things about how we operate on the fifth floor, I think that's worthy of a conversation at a more casual work session environment, so we can have that thorough conversation.
Okay, I did not revamp the job description. It is pretty much like it was before. What I am talking about is how the work is assigned to that person, who those requests flow through, because I think you can probably all agree that a person hired to support one position is going to find a very difficult time taking direction from 14 people.
Well, and I think that's true, but the position was created to support the entire fifth floor and to handle all the activities that used to be handled, divvied up among the 7 offices.
Correct.
Not specifically just to support the chair's office, but the chair was appointed to be the person that is that flow-through person for information and assignment and all of the, mundane things of the paperwork of timesheets and those kind of things as well for that front desk position, but.
Correct.
All right.
I'm not disagreeing with you. You just said it in a more concise way than I did. Thank you for confirming what I said. Commissioner Latvala.
I want to just support everything that Commissioner Justice just said. And I know that I'm one of the new folks, but it was described to me that that position supported all of the commissioners on the fifth floor. And
It does.
And so I think if that position is being revamped, it should be a public discussion in a work session or workshop.
Okay, I may have misspoke in terms of using the word, if I did use the word revamp, I don't think I did, but if I did, that was not my intent. I wanted to assess what was going on today that may not have been going on when the job was created. And that's what I have been doing. And I just asked if you have input or you would like anything specifically to be done that you don't find being done, to please let me know. I'm just offering the opportunity to all of you. Yes?
Yeah. I think I was listening to what Commissioner Justice said, and I think we had this robust discussion 3 years ago, when we decided to hire Nikki, to make sure that we were all kind of on the same page, so that in addition to being a receptionist, there was a number of jobs that used to be spread out. And the commission wanted more flexibility with their assistants to be able to do other things and not be tied so much to day-to-day activities on the floor. So that person has those jobs, whatever those jobs are to be defined.
Right.
And any overflow time was to assist the chair's office and to listen to other requests made through the chair's office of that person's time. And that was kind of the way it was structured and thought through. We have 2 new members, and if they think differently, and I don't mean it's going to be a 2-hour work session. I think last time we had a half-hour, 45-minute discussion in the conference room on our floor here to talk about that administrative function. But I think, to Commissioner Justice's point, that's how it was structured, and if in your evaluation you're seeing changes to that, then I think that's what we need to talk about.
Well, I can be very brief, and we have until 12 o'clock if you'd like to I can tell you right now. I have learned that on Mondays and Fridays, there are very few people here, if any. And that the workflow currently being done is not consistent for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that's what I have been trying to determine, and there were a few other things that have been shared with me that really have no bearing on this discussion, but I think I've handled it pretty responsibly. And if you all want to have a further discussion, please just let me know.
Well, again, maybe it's.
How about we do this, if it needs with
Every
the-
time I come into the office, Commissioner Eggers' aide has been here.
Absolutely.
And so I think by saying that people are not here on Monday, I was here yesterday. Yesterday was a Monday. Commissioner Eggers' aide was here, as was other folks.
Right.
And so, I mean, to say that this is a 3-day-a-week operation, I think is wholly unfair.
Yeah, I do think that, and I was about to say, maybe it's old-fashioned on my part, but I do think it's important that we have somebody on this floor at all time. And I think that person at the front desk becomes that face when somebody walks in. And maybe it's once a month somebody walks in. Maybe the people that have come before COVID are now starting to get back out, and we'll start seeing more people again. I don't know. But I do think that presence on the floor is important.
And my aide is here on Mondays and Fridays, and I have meetings on Mondays and Fridays.
Okay.
So I don't,
Good to know.
yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I concur that there should be a presence at our, when guests are coming in. I know that when I started feeling a little bit more comfortable, I started having in-person meetings in my office, you know, and so they were coming in, and I have asked, you know, Darlena to make herself available up here as well, so that if somebody should just happen to walk in, you know, that they, and they ask for my office, that they're serviced. So I think it's always just good customer service to have a person there that somebody sees face to face. I support that.
Okay.
The only thing I would ask is, and I have absolutely no issue with that person taking on additional responsibilities that come with the chair's office, because there's much more that comes with the chair's office, on top of all the other things that the chair does, you know, for their district. The only thing I would request is that I agree, coming to the chair saying, I have XYZ, I would like for that person to assist. And if they are available, that they assist, not I'm not doing it, or they won't move until they get it from someone else. If I've already, I shouldn't be questioned that I've already asked for permission to ask them for support with
Right.
a project or something of that nature. And Commissioner Eggers is right. We did have a 35, 40-minute, whatever conversation back there, and I shared what my concerns were and the things that were happening then as well. Nor should that person be calling around this office building, asking others about what they should and should not do for those of us here on the 5th floor. If it's coming from a commissioner, if it's coming from your office, accommodate it.
Okay.
Accommodate it.
Okay. Commissioner Scott?
I don't really think I have anything else to add beyond what's already been said here.
Thank
Other than I do agree that, you know, somebody should be there to be that sort of point of contact with the general public, even though right now we don't really get a ton of general public up here. Hopefully that'll change at some point in the future.
Okay. Duly noted, all the comments. Thank you very much. The second thing I wanted to share with you, well, I haven't talked to Jewel yet. I thought I'd get a chance to chat with her, but I will chat with her and I'll bring that back to you. All right? Lastly, the Skyway lighting resolutions. I thought we had handled that last time. Apparently, I missed it. The Skyway lighting proclamation or resolution, whatever we do for that, for the lighting of the Skyway for mental health.
How we're going to handle them, you mean?
Yeah, didn't we?
We voted
had a
that what was
list.
already on the
Had the
list.
long
I
list.
thought
what
it
you
was,
all-
and we voted on it, but
Madam Chair, I think that what you all voted on at the last meeting, and I talked to Nikki after the meeting, or we communicated, there was a master resolution that recognized every organization or cause that you had supported in the past, but I think there was at least one or two new resolutions that we could have taken up at the last meeting. And I think that's what we neglected to get the board to act on.
all right, well, for right now, I would like to know if it's all right with all of you that we light the Skyway for Mental Health Awareness Month, which is in May.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and approved. Everybody agree?
And can I add one thing? What we are inserting in the resolutions that you all will be seeing from here forward is a statement that says we support Mental Health Awareness Month, and we do on an ongoing basis, so that you won't have to take it up next year.
So it's added to that list.
Correct.
Of ones we've already.
And then what we'll do is every January, bring you back that list and just kind of give you the full list. But we are including language now that says we recognize, and I'm just going to use mental health awareness as the example, we recognize this and we deem it approved for the future.
Okay, all right, so we've taken care of that. And I do believe that without, unless somebody has some, oh, I did forget to tell you one thing, and not to cause another, big, long discussion, but I did have an opportunity to have a one-on-one with President Biden when he was here last Thursday, and I wanted you to know the 3 things that were on my list that I spoke about. It was transportation, infrastructure, and beach renourishment. So you may or may not be happy to know that as a result, we have been invited to go to the White House at the end of this month or the first couple of weeks in March. And I've discussed it with Barry, and we're going to see if we can't get the Army Corps of Engineers to move off the dime and finish the renourishment projects that are going on down on the beaches of our county. So, and that's turning out to be a pretty big deal, especially now that we have those counties that were affected by Ian also begging for beach renourishment dollars. So stay tuned.
Congratulations. I think that ask has been going on since the 80s, late 80s, early 90s.
It's been in place for a very, very long time, decades, really. You?
Yeah, I think that's really good news, Madam Chair. And also, I think long-term, we really need to be kind of looking at engineering, solutions to countermeasures to, so we don't have to renourish the beaches quite as often. We have 35 miles of beach here, and it's extremely expensive. I don't really feel we have a good permanent solution to that, and I think we need to really invest some time and money and look into that.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to mess with Mother Nature, though. I mean, you just never know.
Right.
Those engineers go to work.
Yeah. Barry, did you?
Yeah, Madam Chair, you also said you were going to address the Human Rights Board appointment.
Oh, yes, appointment.
Well, I thought that had already been handled because it used to be the administrative something or other, but nonetheless, they changed the name. It's now called the Human Rights Board, and I have asked Commissioner Peters to serve on it, and she has agreed. Are you there, Commissioner?
I am, thank you.
Do you have any comments on any of the other things that we've talked about in the last 5 minutes?
No, I found it very entertaining and informative.
Oh, thank you.
You'll need a vote on that, Commissioner, though.
We
You
need
want-
to vote.
Yeah, take a vote on the appointment of Commissioner Peters.
Oh, okay.
Move approval.
Second. Commissioner Peters?
That's a yes.
Thank you. All in favor? We're all in favor? We're good?
Aye.
Okay. Very good. With that said, then, without anything else to discuss, we are adjourned.